Welcome to Studio Classroom on the Air. This is the place to come when you want to have some fun. My name is Rebecca, and I know that your English will improve today. Now, how would you feel if from now on you no longer worked with people, rather you worked with digital colleagues? Would you be excited, or do you think that would just be kind of strange? Well, before you make up your mind, we're going to discuss further what it would be like to have a digital colleague in a lesson called You're Going to Work with a Digital Colleague. Throughout today's lesson, try to answer the following question. Are digital colleagues and traditional AI the same thing? Okay, friends, I know you have your magazines. Make sure they're open, and let's begin. Working with a digital colleague. Here's what to expect. If you woke up tomorrow and had a digital colleague next to you, would you freak out? There's no set rule for what a digital colleague has to look like. They could look as simple as Amazon's Echo Dot or as complex as a humanoid robot. But the scenario of having one nearby is already on its way, according to Pat Geary and Vijay Kirkle. No, a digital colleague isn't the same thing as traditional AI. There's a distinction between general artificial intelligence and a digital colleague, as Geary explains. Whereas both digital assistants and AI give greater speed and accuracy, traditional use of AI is more task-specific.
Hello everyone, welcome to Language Lab. I'm Jack. 我们今天先来看 freak out， 它是一个片语动词，意思是惊慌或是很怕。例如 Melissa freaked out when she realized her wallet was missing. Melissa 一发现到她的钱包不见了，就非常惊慌。Freak out 也有发疯的意思，例如 The man was quietly sitting on the bench.But then he suddenly freaked out and started yelling and screaming. 那个人本来是静静地坐在长椅上，可是他就好像突然发疯，开始乱叫。我们也可以用 freak out 来指吓坏某人，或是使某人紧张害怕。例如 If you wear that outfit to work, you will freak out your coworkers. 你如果穿那套衣服去上班，你会吓坏你的同事。或是Tom played a joke on me and freaked me out. Tom 捉弄我，把我吓坏了。接下来我们来看 scenario 这个名词的意思是指设想的场景。例如 The teacher presented a scenario to the class and then asked the students to share their opinions. 老师在课堂中形容一个场景，然后请同学们分享他们的看法。英文呢有一个片语Best case scenario， 它的意思是最佳情况。例如 The best case scenario would be for us to catch the last plane tonight and get back home tomorrow morning. 我们最好的情况就是赶上今晚的最后一班飞机，然后明天早上回到家。Best case scenario 的相反就是 worst case scenario， 意思是指最坏的情况。例如The counselor tried to help the family prepare for the worst-case scenario. 辅导员尽可能帮助那个家庭为最坏的情况做心理预备。
Thanks, Jack. All right, friends, I hope you're ready for our technology article for today. It's good to see you. My name is Campbell.
That's right. We are talking about how you're going to work with a digital colleague. So, Campbell, how do you feel about working with a digital colleague?
Well, Rebecca, how do I know that you're not a digital colleague?
Oh, well, Am I?
I don't know. Are you really here?
Or perhaps you will never know for sure.
I don't know. I think it's a little scary, don't you think?
That is actually a kind of a scary thought. You don't necessarily know what your digital colleague will look like. Perhaps the colleague will really look like a person, or perhaps it won't look like a real person, which is something we will talk about a little bit later on in our lesson. But still, what are your thoughts about digital colleagues?
Well, I think it would take some time to get used to, but I think once I was used to it, it might be a helpful thing to have a computer or a digital colleague to help me with my job.
Okay, I will keep that in mind. Well, our lesson says here's what to expect. If you woke up tomorrow and had a digital colleague next to you, would you freak out? Would you freak out, Campbell?
I might freak out. It would be weird. I mean, I'm used to talking to people and interacting with people, and then all of a sudden there's this digital colleague next to me.
Right, and you didn't really get any fair warning.
Right.
That could be a little weird, and perhaps you really would freak out. I know that I probably would too. Well, our lesson says there's no set rule for what a digital colleague has to look like. They could look as simple as Amazon's Echo Dot, or as complex as a humanoid robot. There you go.
So what we're saying is, well, you never really know what they're going to look like. They can come in many different forms.
Exactly. Now we want to take a look at a word that appeared right at the beginning of our lesson, and that is this word set, like set rule. This just means or refers to something that is fixed or certain.
Yeah, now we can talk about set rules or a set time or set place. Like I might say, I have a set time when I have dinner every day.
Oh, really? What's the set time?
My set time is 6:30 p.m. I must have dinner every day at 6:30.
That is an excellent example. And of course, in our lesson, we're talking about how there's no set rule for what a digital colleague has to look like. Well, let's go on to the next sentence. But the scenario of having one nearby is already on its way, according to Pat Geary and VJ Kirkle. Now, we want to take a look at this phrase, on its way. This just means that something is happening or arriving soon.
That's right. So if someone is pregnant and they feel like the baby's coming, then they can say, oh, the baby is on its way.
That is right. The baby is on its way. Or perhaps you're waiting for someone to come over to your house and you give them a call. Hey, where are you? Campbell, Linda, are you guys coming over soon? And they say, oh, yes, we're on our way.
That means that we are on the road. We're heading towards Rebecca's house.
That's right. So, of course, you can use the phrase on its way. Something is on its way or someone is on their way. And we continue on with no. A digital colleague isn't the same thing as traditional AI. Were you wondering if those two were the same?
I was actually. You know, when we talk about AI, of course, we're talking about artificial intelligence.
That's right, and we continue on here. There is a distinction between general artificial intelligence, AI, and a digital colleague, as Geary explains, whereas both digital assistants and AI give greater speed and accuracy, traditional use of AI is more task-specific. So that kind of talks a little bit about the difference between the two.
That's right. So usually AI, there's a specific thing that the AI is programmed to do, whereas digital assistants or digital colleagues can do a wider range of things.
That's right. And of course, talking about tasks, sometimes in life we have a lot of different tasks to do, and sometimes we might say we have a lot on our plate. Well, right now we want to learn more about this phrase in the Info Cloud. Hello, friends. Welcome to Info Cloud.
Work, school, projects, family, relationships. Life can get pretty busy sometimes.
Today, we want to teach you a phrase you can use when you feel busy or like you have too much to do. I have a lot on my plate.
Think of a dinner plate. For this idiom, it represents your life. Food on the plate is like the responsibilities, tasks, or things that take up your time.
The word lot here means to have many or even too much. So if someone has a lot on their plate, it means that they have quite a bit to do or too many tasks.
Having a lot on your plate can also mean that someone feels overwhelmed with life or even just busy in general. Between working overtime and having 4 kids at home, Jack really has a lot on his plate.
I personally have a lot on my plate last week with all of the work deadlines I had to meet. How about you, Mania? Do you ever feel this way?
Definitely. I think everyone does sometimes. How about you? Do you have a lot on your plate?
当你的手上有很多工作要做，或是肩膀上担负许多责任，你可以用今天分享的用语来表达，那就是 I have a lot on my plate. Plate 是吃饭时用的盘子。I have a lot on my plate 字面上就是我的盘子上有很多东西，用来表达自己现在有很多事情要处理，有很多角色要扮演，或是有很多责任要履行。当你觉得自己已经被所有的事情压得喘不过气了，或者是单纯的很忙碌，你可以用 I have a lot on my plate 来形容你的情况。这就是今天的 InfoCloud，我们下次云端见。